Get started. You want to take your seats. Welcome everybody to the public hearing. As far as just a couple of housekeeping things, you can see that the microphone is close to my mouth and pointed straight at my face. As soon as I put it like this, you almost hear almost nothing. And if you're standing at that stand, you're probably not going to hear much. So if you want people to hear you, get up close to the microphone, right up to your face. Hopefully that's clear. If you can't hear in the back, move forward because this is as loud as it goes. Okay, we will call the meeting to order. And does anybody have any opening remarks? Okay, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have an approval of the agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes of the last planning and zoning meeting on February 19th. Are there any changes to that?
There was a date that I got wrong. It was 2025, so I corrected that to 2026.
Move to approve the agenda with the corrected changes.
I'll second that motion.
Right, all in favor? Aye.
Garrett, will you repeat what everybody said?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully they'll talk into their own microphones, but so far we've approved the agenda. And the minutes. A couple other things here really quick. This is a privilege to be in this auditorium tonight. We are on thin ice with Ridgeline High School. So the rule is that we have to be out of here by 9:15. The meeting will end at 9 o'clock. The public comment period, if needs be, will end at 8:30. If we want to continue to have the privilege of using this auditorium when we need large gathering spaces like this, we will need to respect that. Like, this is our last chance. If we're not out of here at 9:15, we'll lose this opportunity and we'll be crammed back in the city building again. So, did everyone hear that? Out of here by 9:15, no lollygagging. Also be respectful of the 2-minute timer. There are a lot of people that want to speak. You'll be able to watch it count down when the timer goes off. Hopefully you don't even get to when the timer goes off, but if the timer goes off, like, be done in the next 5 or 10 seconds, or we'll bring the hook out. Okay, speak clearly. Public comment done by 8:30. You can ask questions, but during the public hearing portion, we won't be addressing your questions. That will be addressed in our discussion time that will start at 8:30. So don't be offended if we don't respond to your question. We'll make a note of it and try to respond later. And I think that's it. So we will need a motion to open the public hearing.
I move we open the public hearing.
We have a motion and a second.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. I think these are the slips here. We'll just do first come, first serve. And the first up is Albert Monson.
Gotta speak loud for Albert.
Is this thing working? Okay. I thought you put the kibosh to this last fall.
Be closer to that.
Do you want me to lick it? Anyway, like I said, I thought you put this to the kibosh to this last fall. Couple questions. If you approve this, have we got enough water? Because I've been told that the daggone well is kind of going downhill. I was also told that the sewer system wasn't designed for too much more than what we got population right now. Plus, if you get started, how many more people is going to want to jump on the bandwagon and develop excess ground? Thank you.
All right, thanks, Albert. Jean Culbertson.
Garrett, what's coming up? Is this exactly for the same thing that shut down last fall?
No, that's probably a good question. What the proposal is right now is for it to be a mixed zone with some half-acre lots and some third-acre lots. And what's been proposed, I don't know if you can see that. There's a yellow portion and a green portion. The yellow portion of the property is third acre and the green portion of the property is half acre. That's their proposal. This is just sort of an arbitrary map at this point.
So how many less homes there will be in there?
We are not taking questions.
Let's, if you have a question, come up to the front, please, because those are all good questions. But let's, okay, go ahead, Jean.
First of all, thank you guys for all the work that you've done, City Council as well. Water is my prime concern. Not, I don't want that to go.
Tip that microphone down to your face a little bit more. Let's go forward. Sorry.
Okay, I share a well with my neighbors, the Christensens, and it's located on our property. If there's another well dug to support this well subdivision, I really worry that we'll run out of water ultimately. I'd like to see a complete report by a licensed hydrologist on the availability of water in the past, present, and an estimate for the future for this development. Cache County is now requiring proof of availability of water for new developments. There should be also an environmental impact study done. The fields are prime hunting grounds for birds of prey, hawks, owls, etc. And my cat likes to go out and catch the occasional mouse. Okay, property rights. Seems like the people most affected by this, those of us who live in the South Fields, and the farmers who are going to lose income, obviously, don't really have a say. Well, the farmers do because they live in Millville. But those living outside of Millville city limits, we don't have any say as far as elected officers, whatnot. So we have to sort of depend on you guys to carry on. Certainly this proposed subdivision will change the entire feel of the South Fields. Traffic, people, noise, lights, everything.
Thank you so much. Peter Thatcher.
Alright, so Ken Hamilton couldn't make it today, so he asked me to read a letter for him. My only comment for myself is to ask if the group thinks that anything is actually different this proposal versus last time, or if anything's changed? Because it seems like gratitude. Anyways, for Ken, I would like to express my gratitude to each member of the Millville Planning and Zoning Committee. You have a tough job at times, but you have done and are doing a great job reflecting the citizens' concerns and showing the best intention for the town of Millville. As a business owner in Millville and a landowner in the Southfields, I strongly ask you to vote no on this development, or this latest request by the developer. There have been no substantive changes since last November, when both Millville Planning and Zoning and Millville City Council each voted no on the development proposal. The slight revision of a small portion of the 37 acres to be 1.5 acre lots instead of 1/3 acre lots is of little to no consequence, as it only reduces the total number of homes by very little. I do not see how Millville City has had time to address any of the infrastructure needs of water, roads, schools, emergency services, traffic, etc. when that were of major concern last fall. With no infrastructure improvements, how can things be any different now versus last November when it was denied by Planning and Zoning and City Council? High-density subdivision in the South Fields will destroy the nature and fabric of Millville and the South Fields. It will have a lasting negative impact on neighboring fields and businesses that will be required to adjust their operations, and even lose land through unethical land confiscation from eminent domain to provide access in and out of the subdivision. Who will compensate us for these losses? Certainly not the developer nor the city of Millville. These property owners in neighboring fields to this proposed development should not be obligated to help fund this development. The current owners of this property purchased it knowing it was zoned agriculture. They do not live here, they do not farm it, it was bought solely on speculation. No one in this community should feel any obligation to see that a speculator and developer make a great deal of money. I couldn't finish it, sorry.
Hey Peter, I'm gonna use you as a guinea pig here for a second.
Was I too loud?
Is it echoey to anybody else in here?
Very bad.
Try speaking directly into the mic and see if that makes it like straight on.
Like this?
No, it's still echoey.
It's still echoey.
Everybody turn off your mic.
Helps, it might be picking up, I'm not sure that will, but.
Finish your letter,
Turn off your mic.
I got more time. Here we go. Speculators and developers do not have the best interests of this beautiful small rural community in mind. They have one interest: to make money, as much money as possible. Given any chance, they will destroy as much as they are allowed to destroy in the South Fields. I ask the Planning and Zoning to consider the long-term future of the South Fields. Millville and its citizens need open spaces, safe spaces. Rural and open, uncontrolled development would destroy all this. We will still have this.
Okay.
If you stood away from that mic and used yours, yeah, you were by the other mic.
What do you want me to do?
Back to the-
You told me to link it.
You would put it in like this, it's back to the-
All right, how about here? Here.
Turn that one off and try this one.
Oh, turn this one off.
Get away from the other mic.
Okay, this one's off.
All right, how about that?
Oh, that's better.
Yeah,
You
right.
think that's better? Okay, I'm going to try a little bit more. Thank you for your service and love for this great little community. Sincerely, Ken and Gina Hamilton.
Okay, let's try this. Give me my microphone back and hold that one up and see if it's the way you're holding it or if it's the microphone itself. Turn mine off. No. Well, that one's dead now anyway, I guess.
John, it's a different frequency.
Let's check this.
Test.
Let's just use this one.
Yeah, use that.
Okay.
Hold it maybe.
I'll talk loud on my side.
All right. Okay, was enough guinea pig.
Hey, so again, hold.
You guys hearing it fine in the back? Okay, all right, we're gonna move forward then. Hold
For me, it's like feedback for me, so I can't understand what you're saying to take the minute. So
And-
that's my concern.
And we are also hearing so much echo that I'm only picking up half of what people are saying up here. But I guess I don't sound echoey. You? I don't know. Speak straight into the microphone. Hopefully that'll help. Celeste Thatcher is next.
Is it like totally impossible to understand? Was it impossible to understand?
I can hear you.
Okay.
What?
you for giving us your time this evening and last November to share our concerns about this proposed rezone. The concerns we expressed 3 months ago are the same today. We are concerned it will cause a lot of traffic and disruption to our friends in the current subdivision and other neighboring farms. We are concerned about the deteriorating Southfields Road not being able to accommodate so many more cars. We are concerned about having enough water, about the wildlife in that area suffering, and about the many people who love to walk and cycle to the Coyote Farm and already fear whenever a car approaches. We appreciate that in November, the Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council voted unanimously against this proposal, and we would hope that you will do so again. I think Councilman Zollinger said it best at the last vote, quote, "I do not know if we have the roads for this kind of growth. I don't know if we're necessarily ready for the growth in the Southfields, and I wish we had a better plan." The city is working on getting a better plan. We just need more time to get those systems in place and then possibly move forward. We need more time to define the different parcels like a new 1-acre lot zone. Lot size. We have not yet created a multi-zone lot area, and most importantly, we need to update the city's general plan. The developer came back with a new plan that shows 1/3 and half-acre lots. From the posted image and some math calculations, it worked out to be approximately a 30-70% split, with approximately 15 houses on half-acre lots. This only decreased the total amount of new homes by about 8, so not a substantial change. Again, as was said by Ryan, it does have the potential to make a large impact on the south side of the community if the development does go through. We ask the developer and the landowner to be patient as we work together toward responsible growth and development in any part of Millville. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Colonel Haas.
Planning and Zoning, City Council, and all you people out in the community. I appreciate everybody for coming and showing an interest in this. I think it's a great thing that we have such interest that brings us out. I was unable to come to the last 2 public hearings, but I'm just wondering why we're back here again. A 1/3 acre, yes, a 1/3 acre is a lot of houses. A 1/4 acre, no question at all. A 1/2 acre, maybe a few. Why not the 1 acre? Why not the 1 or 2 acre? I feel like we're sitting amongst spoiled teenagers and they're saying, "But Mom, but Dad, everybody else is doing it. Why can't Millville?" And I just feel like we're kind of going under this. It's only been 3 or 4 months. We voted, the city, or the planning and zoning, the city council voted that it doesn't take place and it's null and void. Why are we doing this again?
Okay, thank you. Linda Hendrickson.
So I would like to voice my concern. I live at 3 South 200 East, which is apparently the street that, one of the streets that's going to be impacted the most. And I'm against that altogether. I'm against it for all the reasons that Albert said, that Peter said, that Celeste said so far. And anyway, I'm against it because I don't want it to be changed altogether. We don't need to do it. We can say no. You don't change the zoning. That's my view. I know it's pretty radical, but that's how I feel about it. And if you did have to do it, if everyone here said, "Oh, great, go do it," then make it big lots. But I mean, a lot of people were here the first time, the second time, and most people are against it as well. I hope you can see that and vote accordingly.
Thank you. Kim Ashcroft.
Okay. So everybody's brought up all the different topics, except for I got a couple questions for you. number one is stormwater. What are you gonna do with the stormwater? Number two, I know that Logan City and other communities, when a developer comes back to rezone, there's a significant amount of fee. Is Millville City charging that developer or landowner when they come back to change the rezoning again, a fee to do that? And then third of all, I just want to tell you guys, I've had the opportunity to come to a few planning and zoning committees, and I know you have the community's best interests in heart. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for serving and doing a great job. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mike Hall.
So I was actually not planning on coming here to speak today, but some people told me I should, so I'm here. But anyway, I've lived in Millville for about 30 years, and we actually owned the land. My family owned the land that was right behind our house on 3rd South where they built the subdivision. And at first I was like, we shouldn't sell the land, but my family needed the money. But there's been some great people that have gone in there, right? Linda Hendricks is one of them. Anyway, I just think the Southfields kind of needs to stay the way it is, because if we have a bunch of small homes there, it's just not ideal. It's just, I don't know, it's not Millville. And granted, I understand things change, but I don't know, the people that I feel like that have bought houses out in the Southfields, they bought houses out there because they wanted to be kind of a little farther out, and I think we need to respect that. And I understand that things will change at some point, but I don't know, I just like the idea of keeping everything kind of the way it is for a little bit. And and I mean, if everybody votes and whatever, that's totally fine, I understand that. But anyway, that's all I have. So, oh, and thank you guys as well for all your time. So.
Okay, thank you. I put a speaker up by us, so now we can hear better. Jeanette Monson.
Thanks to family for those that have put so much effort in. I was to the hearing as far as in other lot sizes. I was in hopes that if this came up again, that they would be thinking of at least 1 or 2 acre lots. Obviously, that's not how the developer is looking at things yet. I've lived here in Millville since 1978. My husband was born and raised here. And I've loved Millville for its country feel, the fact that people can choose to have horses, chickens, whatever. The more densely populated this place becomes, the less chance there is for that type of living. And I don't think that that's in the best interest of most of the people in Millville. I'm also very concerned about the infrastructure of Millville. Millville is a small town. It's not a metropolis. And as I understand it, for each home that goes in, for each dollar they spend that goes to Millville City for the infrastructure, it costs Millville $1.50. So who's going to be making up that extra third of the cost? So obviously that concerns me. I'm at a point where I'm retired. I live on a fixed income. Everything else is raising far too much to add this to it. Also, needless to say, the roads are a concern. You put this much more traffic on the roads, and the roads still aren't even fixed from the sewer stuff. I'm one of the homes with a mud mess in front of it, and they told me they'd take care of it this spring, but it's still a lot of stuff that Millville City still needs to do in conjunction with that. And then the water issues as well. I'm concerned especially with the low amount of water we've received this year.
Thank you. And Jim Christensen.
I'm giving my time to Cammie. Yes,
Okay, Cammie, you're next. Cameron Valma.
Okay, can you hear me? Yes. Okay. This developer's last proposal was unanimously denied less than 4 months ago. Honestly, feels pretty disrespectful to our community, our planning and zoning commission, and our city council. We haven't had the moment to pause that has been asked for to create a plan for our city. The new proposal has not changed much, as has been mentioned by other people at this meeting. It has not taken into account anything that was said by the citizens or the city council members at the past public hearings or at the November vote. It was stated multiple times when the city council made their decision in November that Millville City needs to come up with a plan for this area of the South Fields. The Planning and Zoning Committee, as well as the City Council, have been working on creating a 1-acre zone, preparing to update the general plan, and are working on other things to better our city so that we can move forward with development in all areas of the city. However, nothing has officially changed regarding those things between November 13th and today. We believe in property rights, and that's been a big topic for lots of people. We believe this landowner has the right to do what he wants with his land, so long as it is in line with our city's general plan. That is a state code as well as a city code. This proposal, as it stands, is not in line with our current general plan, and that is why the city council made it clear that we need time to take a pause and put a plan in place that will benefit the city now and long term. It has been mentioned multiple times that we cannot rely on other communities to provide housing for our children's future. I'm gonna start my next two things. For our children's future, and that is correct. I believe that wholeheartedly. It is also our responsibility to preserve the country feel that Millville has for our children's future. There is a way to plan out, and not just in the South Fields, but in other undeveloped areas of Millville City, to allow for people that have the dream to have more space to make it work. There is a way to do it. We have community members that are educated, that have researched, that actually do this for a living, that are willing to give their time for free to work with planning and zoning, to work with the city council, to help develop a general plan, and put together a really beautiful thing so that people can come here, so they can live here, because they do want to live here, and I don't blame them one bit. Right now, our city has the chance to take the time to make a well-thought-out plan for the Southfields area, and I feel like we should do exactly what City Council said during their votes in November. Take the pause, get the general plan done, get some things cleaned up around the city, and make it happen. I have heard of developers coming in and bullying small towns into doing these things, and this feels a little bit like that. It's been mentioned, I can't believe we're back here, and it's true, I can't believe we're back here. I also believe in democracy, and I know that this is part of the process, and we want you to know that even though they're trying to wear us down as a community, we will not back down. Thanks.
Thank you. Luann Pearson.
Okay, I don't have too much to say, and I'm all jumbled. I totally second everything that Cammy just said. I think there is something to this developers trying to wear us down. They do it, and I've seen it happen before, even in this city. I think we need to be very careful that we don't allow that to happen, that we're in charge and not them. My second concern is that last time we had this meeting before the city council, you as planning and zoning can recommend to the city council, but they don't have to vote the way you say. So I'm just hoping that the city council will take your recommendation and vote no, as we hope you will vote no, because we're not ready for this yet. It's like a slap in the face if they come back and do this again. So we gotta be careful not to let them wear us down and give in.
Thank you. Okay, Chloe Baker.
Hi, thank you for your time. Thanks for being here. Cammie said everything I want to say a lot better. So, I second everything she said. We appreciate planning and zoning. We appreciate your thought and all of your putting into our town. Cities have every right to create development zones that reflect what its citizens prefer. There is no law taking away the ability for cities to assign zones for certain areas regarding growth and development, which we know will happen. We just want it to happen smarter and better, so long as they reflect the city's general plan. It is rare in similar-sized communities in Utah that the city council votes against a recommendation from planning and zoning, and that's why we're all so shocked that we're back here, because this was previously voted upon. The new proposal is hardly different from the last one. And we are hoping that the original vote that planning and zoning put in will be respected and remembered by the city council, as planning and zoning is the governing body over land and zoning. I have similar concerns as everybody else here. I think the usage of water needs to be carefully considered. I'm also very concerned about anybody who wanted to move in. Millville Elementary and a lot of other schools are already at max capacity. We think about what that's going to do to our teachers and all the students involved. There's just not room for a huge development right now. I'm concerned about us as Millville citizens eating the cost of impact after the developer makes his money and leaves. We need to carefully consider what the citizens want, and we're not trying to just shut it down. We're trying to make sure that it happens in a way that's cohesive with the feeling we want in Millville, the traffic impacts we want in Millville, and all those kinds of things. So again, thank you for your time. I just hope that everything will be carefully considered, as everyone here does. Thanks.
Okay, Scott Robinson.
Pretty colors on a map don't make a plan. That's all there is to it. City has a plan, we should follow the plan. Or if we need to change the plan, change the plan. And something that hasn't been discussed too much is watersheds and water, which we've talked about groundwater. But there's a lot of surface water. There's the spring branch in the Gar Springs that flows right past my property. Spent thousands of dollars working with the USDA, it's not the Army Corps, it's the, won't give up my time, but working with the USDA to improve the functioning of that creek. It's a creek, it's a watershed. It collects all the water from around the surrounding properties. I haven't seen a plan or heard of a plan with those south fields that talks about the watershed, about the water. It flows from the hills, down past the Ripplingers, goes to a little spring down the park, goes past the Humphreys, goes down through the Rocoletto's property, down past mine, dumps into the canal, or the lower Bear River Canal. That's a watershed, it collects the water. It's a riparian area, which means it has the water vegetation, which eats nitrates. It's good for the environment. These plans, they just put the property lines, the fences right up against the creek, and they don't care about the functioning of the watershed and what it does for a community. Also, communities are spending thousands, well, probably millions, to provide access along through their communities in these greening open areas. We're not looking at that here. We're just boxing everything in. There's opportunities we have here for any development. I haven't seen anything that deals with watersheds or the surface water, the surface runoff. And if you really go by the law for a creek like this, you're not supposed to discharge stormwater into the ground. That's illegal, but mean, it is what it is. I think we should take a good look at our water, the watershed that this is going to be affecting.
All right, thank you. Well, that didn't take very long. I guess I'm gonna open it up. You still got 2 minutes. If anybody have a comment, you can come up for 2 minutes. State your name and
Riley Peterson. I will be sharing Jared Nichols' comments in addition to my own. From Jared Nichols. Millville has already decided this issue. Planning and zoning spoke, the city council spoke, the residents spoke. The answer was clear, no. Nothing about that answer has changed, so we are confused why this issue is being brought back up so quickly. The developer may want another chance, the community does not. If this proposal is pushed forward again, the response will be immediate. Residents will pursue a referendum. Residents will request the full public record through grandma. Residents will document every communication and every vote connected to this proposal. Residents will ask the state to review whether the city is operating fully within Utah law. Residents will provide the entire record to regional media. None of this is what we want. We want the city to stand by the decision it already made. We want our officials to represent the community that elected them. Millville should not be asked to reopen settled decisions, and it should not be placed in the position of rescuing speculative land deals. The community and the city leadership has already spoken. We are asking the developer to respect that. Thank you. Then my own thoughts. First of all, I think the format of these discussions is broken. I think it would be helpful to have some back and forth to understand what advantages there might be from developing the land, right? I'm not ever going to sign on for 3rd or 4 acre lots. I can get on board with 2 acre. But I think a real cost benefit analysis needs to be done here. I think the developer stands to profit from, that was Jared's time, I'm starting over. I think there needs to be a real cost analysis because I guarantee the citizens of Millville are going to end up paying for the millions of dollars in road, in water infrastructure. The developer's not going to be shelling out all the costs for that. That's going to fall on the citizens of Millville, and I kind of think it's bullshit, but that's not for me to decide. Question, has the master plan been updated? You're working on it? Okay. I'll just say as a south builder, when Logan City was trucking silt from 3rd Dam out across that road, my kids were late for school. We couldn't get down the road because trucks were going all the time. It's a nightmare. And so that whole road's gonna have to get revisited. That's gonna be millions of dollars to pave that road. I just think I don't think we can put numbers to this yet. And the last thing that I'm going to say is, the day I got married, I had 67 cents in my checking account. I was broke. I dreamed about owning land. I got no handouts. I reached platinum medallion status on Delta, so I could be able to afford what eventually became a few acres in the Southfields. I think people should be able to pay that price. I'm empathetic to the housing costs, but I'm also like, this is America, figure it out. So I think 2 acre lots is the right call. I don't think Millville needs to be in the business of handing out small acreage to people. I think people need to figure it out, and Utah has so many communities that are just packed with poor planning and thought, and I mean, Nibley being one of them. I don't think we need to join that cause. Thanks.
Thank you. Can we get more of these so I can make a note up here of who's speaking?
My name is Lindsay Hales. I live on that, just north of the South Hills in that little newer housing spot. Okay, when I first heard about this, just like other people have said, I was surprised that it's only been a few months and we're here again. I sell a lot of things on KSL, and it kind of reminded me of like a lowball offer. Like I have something listed at $20, and then they come with, you know, $250, maybe $250 for that. And then I get everything together. We meet up finally, and then I get there, and they're like, okay, $3. You know, it's just, I feel like time's a valuable resource, and yeah, it's just kind of disrespectful that we're doing that again. And I know it's not you guys at all. I feel like meeting halfway would have been, you know, 1 acres, and that's still giving him, you know, a better end of the deal there. Okay, one of my best friends lives in the South Fields, and she told me that she at least has someone knock on her door at least once a month that wants to know if they're selling, that wants to know if there's other lots that are like hers, and I feel like we have that chance. We can make our own paradise in Millville. I feel like that's why people move to Paradise. They want more land, and I feel like we have that opportunity here. And there is definitely a want for it. And 10 seconds. I just want to say I'm pumped to hear you guys are working on a general plan. We are strong, and you have our whole community backing you up, no matter what rough guys come to town.
Jennifer Jensen, Millville resident, representing community, but as a community member, and also my sons who own 11.4 acres just across the road from this 35-acre development. We have water rights that run from springs on this property that's being looked at to be developed, and I worry about the watershed and contamination in that spring for our animals, for growing crops on that property, and I worry about the what Scott Robinson also spoke about, that creek, that stream will get contaminated. I worry about the traffic out there, and bringing that many people into that area just opens up a whole bunch of problems that I foresee with trash. People, when this is nothing against anybody personally, but when the other subdivision was developed just north of there, I watched people dump their grass clippings over the fence on the other side of the road. I watched the developer not pick up trash. I watched all kinds of things that we shouldn't have stood for. As a community, we should stand up for the other property owners in this community. We should stand up for each other.
Thank you. Anybody else?
This area we're talking about for this new subdivision is one of the only places in Millville that has a pressurized irrigation, and that is really efficient for farmers. And if anybody was to buy a larger lot, it would fit in perfectly to have their home and their little farm, their little pasture, their little their horses or their sheep or their animals, and still be able to water their ground ideally, because of the pressurizing irrigation system. Now, I am pretty sure that the city is looking at these water shares. If they was turned into fourth acre, third acre, half acre lots, they would probably want to scoop them up so they could give those houses water. But this is the ideal place for somebody to buy a larger lot and still have their little farm and they dream as if they were, I'm in a dream farm. I have got a few acres myself, and I just love it. If it wasn't for the gravity flow irrigation, it would be a lot harder. I just wanted to bring this point out. I've never heard anybody talk about this before, but I wanted to point it out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Garrett, can I make one more comment?
Yeah.
The landowner.
Come up to the, can you come up to the mic?
Just to say, the landowner knew what the zoning was when he bought the land. And he took a gamble on it, thinking that maybe someday in the future he could sell it or rezone it. But he knew what he was getting into when he bought the land. It was zoned R3 agriculture when he bought the land. And he knew that.
I'm Margot Christensen. I received a text message yesterday that I'd just like to share with you. Hey there, Kathy here from Terrain, where we specialize in real estate development. We've got our eyes on land in Cache County. Can we hop on a brief 10-minute call to chat about it? My response was, nope. She said, got it. Would you mind if we circled back every now and then with the most current landowner owner updates? Maybe someone you know might be in need, and I'd like to be on top of mind when it comes to helping out. Thanks. My response was, no, thank you. She said, I totally understand. Thank you for your time. I have no idea who Kathy is. This is a random text message that I received yesterday about land development. It just is amazing to me. They're like vultures, that they want to come in and try to take away what we value so much.
Anyone else? Have time, we're gonna get out here early.
Can I just ask a question?
Ask a question and then I'll write it down. We can't address it until after the public hearing ends.
Yeah, my question for everybody is like, what's the formal process for updating the master plan? And how do citizens of Millville impact the development of that plan?
Great, good question. Anybody else?
I have a 30-second comment. Can I say one more comment?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay, I know I already spoke. I'm just going to say this really fast.
Okay, another giant concern I have is access points, access roads to this new development. I live on Canyon Road. And when they were working on the sewer, so we talk about putting in more infrastructure and whatever else it takes to put this development in, we were literally blocked in. Almost, I mean, definitely to the point where if in case of emergency, we were toast. Bad. So there's one access road to this development. Obviously, there's gonna have to be more if this goes in, and I have a giant concern for those landowners that, you know, obviously their land's gonna get torn up to do so, or once again, Millville's not ready, and we're at the same place where in case of emergency, everybody out there is toast. So access roads is a giant concern of mine. Okay, all done.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
If I come to the mic, even though I already
Testing, is that good? I don't want you behind me. I wanted to just take a couple of minutes and talk about who really benefits from this. We all live in the Millville area. We're not in the city, but we're darn close, so we're going to say we are. And we're impacted by this a lot. As this goes through, by a show of hands, who is benefiting from this transaction? I don't see any hands come up. You can raise your hand, Jeff, it's okay. There's very few people that are going to benefit from this situation. The landowner who's selling it, who bought it knowing that it was a gamble, who I don't think is going to move on to a 30-acre lot, won't you be my neighbor? And I know for darn sure the developer is benefiting from it, and we don't owe either one of them anything. If you guys, or planning and zoning, if you guys think you're going to benefit from this in any way, that might be a consideration for a yes vote on it, but otherwise, I ask you to vote no on it. All we're doing is giving away our precious land, which is probably our most important form of currency that we have. I talked a little bit about this before. We can go out and we can earn another paycheck every 2 weeks or every month or how often we do it. We ain't gonna earn any more land. We're done. This is it. And I hope that everyone in here will consider that, and also planning and zoning. We need this open space. We need a place for the animals, not necessarily domestic animals, but there's a lot of wildlife out there. They help come in off of the Millville face. The deer come in for feed during the long winter months, which we didn't have this year. This land is important to us. There's no more. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Final call. Anyone else? Is there anyone? Oh, go ahead.
I don't know if I have anything good enough to end on, but Adam Fitzgerald. I've grown up in Millville. I moved away when I got married for a little while and was lucky enough to move back. It already looks way different than it did when I grew up here. We used to ride four-wheelers in fields that are already now houses. It's changed quite a bit, and I think one of the most important things that we need to keep in mind is that we should be the ones that decide this. It feels like we're getting bullied a little bit, I think that's been mentioned, and it feels like this developer might be trying to sneak this in, and he might just keep bringing it back up as soon as he can. So I don't think we're against growth. I think we just need to do it smarter, and I think they're going to try and push us to do it their way. And so I think that hopefully we can be smart about that and just really take our time. Don't let them dictate it. We dictate it. So again, thank you to the council. Thank you for planning and zoning, and yeah, thanks everybody for being here.
Okay,
So when the Cripple Creek subdivision was designed, Millville required a riparian study, and also a portion of the property was put into a preserve area. Is that something that Millville is still going to require for any potential development along that creek?
okay, great. Anyone else? Is there anyone out there brave enough who has anything positive to say about this?
No.
Okay, great.
Hi, I'm the landowner. I've owned it for almost a decade, and when we bought the property, we understood that it was zoned because of the sewer system was not existing, and that we needed to have the amount of area for septic tanks. The world's changed. The one thing that I'd like to say is that the developers, I know, have met with the city council, have met with the planners, have met with the people who have want to develop the community, have a master plan. They came and said, hey, why don't we go ahead and put a public area here, garden area. We'll have nature travels through it, paths through it. And have met and done quite a bit. And we're here back at the meeting, and it would have been nice if the public would have known the efforts that have gone through to be able to accommodate making this a agricultural subdivision. We want to be able to be good citizens, and we want to be able to help the community. We're not here to destroy anything. One thing to remember is that at one time, your home, your lot, your acreage, whatever you are living on, was once developed. The community is changing with the sewer system and the water system, and things have changed a lot in the time that I moved here to Cache Valley, and the population of the community has doubled. The population of Millville has doubled since I've been here, and what are we going to do? We want to do it respectfully, but it'd be good if we could.
Thank you for that. Yes, go ahead. The intent was not for this to turn into an argument, though, so I'm allowing everybody to continue to have time to speak, but I don't want anybody speaking back while anybody's talking up here. So far, everybody's been good, respectful. Let's keep it that way.
You said that just because I got up here, didn't you? It was not personal. It probably is. I'm Susan Goldsberry. I had no intention of speaking tonight, none at all. I didn't do my hair, I didn't do my makeup. I look like crap. But after hearing Jeff, and I don't want to be disrespectful to him, but I have seen nothing in any of the plans regarding this subdivision about nature trails and open spaces and any of this. I haven't seen or heard anything about this, so I hope beyond measure, and I pray to God that this will be shut down once and for all.
Thank you. Okay.
So Doug mentioned the nature and he's been meeting with people. Why not transparency? So
Great, did everyone hear that? She said what, there was talk about nature trails and open spaces. Why wasn't that in the proposal? Feels like there's a lack of transparency.
Can I come up?
Yes.
So I wasn't planning on being up here. This is going to be quick. My name is David Fitzgerald. So while I was sitting down there tonight, just kind of quickly looked up what is positive growth for small towns. And it came up and said 0.5 to 1.5% annual growth is often viewed as strong and positive for small towns. And it says above 2 to 3% can be very challenging. So I just wanted to share that.
I have a comment just on the positive end.
Great. Come on up.
Everybody, my name's Riley Duke. I don't know Jeff, but just to respond to your question, and I didn't really want to comment because clearly it seems like you're only welcome to make a comment against this, but I don't have any stake in this. I don't have any benefit from this, but as questions were brought up about the general plan, I looked it up. There is a section in the 2016 general plan for Millville City that talks about affordable housing. And this section says that the Planning and Zoning Commission is to strive to achieve responsible and well-managed growth. And so I agree with the sentiment that it should be well-planned, that the utilities should be addressed, that the runoff, whatever other environmental concerns should be addressed, but I think there's great benefit in developing this land and in allowing families to move into the city, to join the community, and and I think that the Planning and Zoning Commission is under this plan to strive to achieve that, and so there's maybe 100 people out of the 2,500 residents who are strongly opposed, thus in attendance. I don't know where the other 2,400 are, but I think there's probably a lot of families who would like to be close to their families and be part of the community. And obviously those who have large estates in this area are wanting to keep this property that they don't own in the state that it's at, rather than improve it through development and let other families join their community.
Garrett, I just have a question. I don't really know how to answer this question. It's more of like a clerical question. But the developer we already voted on this, right? So when he brings another proposal back, can you guys, as planning and zoning, just say, we've already voted on this, we don't want to hear it? Or do you have to hear it and it has to come before Millville? Does that make sense? It has to come before the city council? Does that make sense what I'm asking, kind of? It's just more for my own, yeah.
The question was, if the developer comes back again and again, how many times do we have to consider this?
Can you guys just, can you as planning and zoning say, nope, Millville's already voted on it, we've already dealt with this, does that make sense?
We say no without another public hearing.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
All right, anybody else? Go ahead, yeah.
sit here and listen to you, it's impressive because you people are living in the best part of the state of Utah, I think. Let me give you a little bit of history. I'm the guy that bought that lot that the Millville city bought years ago to put a well on. That little triangular piece of property was bought by Millville City to put that well there, and then they decided to move it, so they sold it to, I don't know exactly who it was, but I bought it from him. And that piece of property is, they bought a half acre, so I bought a half acre from them. But it's interesting to see that you talk about going to the state, getting the state involved. I would be very careful there because Dave Hare was not interested in a sewer in Logan and in Millville City, but the state forced it. And the state is really interested in putting everything under a sewer that's here in the valley. And that's the big push now. They have designed that sewer system, if you know about sizes of pipe, and I'm not sure, is that a 15 or a 16-inch pipe that goes out there? He thinks it's a 16-inch, but it's huge. It's going to the south fields. In fact, it almost makes it impossible for me to do anything with that little triangular piece because of the cost of extending that piece of pipe out to where I would utilize it for a duplex that I was planning on putting on a half acre, but it isn't going to be cost effective to do that now. But as they develop, I think you know that you got a tough decision, don't you? This council, this board is really going to it's going to be tough, but eventually, I think, if you try to totally shut it off, I think that will be very difficult for you. You'll have to really be united and come together as a group and do some real expensive things in order to get that done. But it is possible. But to me, it doesn't matter either way. I don't really particularly care at this point. If it happens or doesn't happen, it's got to be a unified effort on everybody's part in order to get that thing place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last call. Okay, I guess before, does anyone from City Council want to say anything right now, or just let us discuss it? Okay, we're all good. All right, let's have a motion to close the public hearing.
I move we close the public hearing.
All in favor? Aye. All right, now we're gonna go through the line and discuss some of the things that have been said. I guess let's just start down there and Bonnie and work our way through.
You want to answer some of the questions that I asked first?
Well, yeah, we can answer them as we go. Any question that you have that you know the answer to, just go ahead and address it.
Okay, I'm Bonnie Farmer, and I've lived in Millville for almost 50 years. I've seen a lot of growth, and I know growth will still keep coming, but I think it's critical that we have planned growth, and I feel like the South Fields is the place where we can do that right now. It was apparent back in 2018 that we were designing that area to be 2-acre lots. And with the sewer, there's been changes, and it would be able to have some smaller size lots now. When this came up about 4 months ago, we made sure to tell everybody that we did not want only 1/3 acre lots. I was kind of surprised when this came up again, and they've put in a few half-acre lots, but to me, we still need larger lots in that area than 1 half-acre lots.
There were a few questions about like the process, what's required, the transparency question about the nature trails and open space. So I wanted to talk just a couple minutes about like the process that this is going to have to go through. There's 2 gates that any development has to go through. There's a rezoning request, right, to go from agriculture to a residential zone. So this is the first gate. This requires 0 details about lot size, necessarily like the layout or nature trails or anything like that. Law doesn't require that at this gate. So it's not a question about transparency necessarily, it's just that the law doesn't require any of those details at this stage of the process. It just has to be, a general intent of we want to try and develop a plot of land, and we'd like these parameters. So I don't want anybody in Millville to feel like, oh, somebody's trying to pull the wool over their eyes, or something's being hidden, or the ball's hidden somewhere. That's not the case, right? The law only requires minimal information at this stage, so that's where we sit. The second gate is the rezoning clearance, or the subdivision approval process. That requires a lot more information. It requires environmental impact, it requires infrastructure studies, all sorts of things. That's the second gate. That requires a ton more data sets, data points, all the maps that are public knowledge, all that kind of stuff. So this initial process requires very minimal information. Not to say that if there is additional information that could be helpful for the community to feel more comfortable about any sort of development. And then the other question was about the master plan getting updated. That requires really 3-step process that either the Planning Zoning Commission or City Council has to make a public notice to hold a public hearing again. So you'll all be back here sometime to give comments about the general plan, desired changes or recommendations. Planning and Zoning Commission hears those out. We provide recommended changes to the general plan up to City Council, and then they're the ones that approve it. So it's a 3-step process to get there. It doesn't happen overnight, but the intent, I believe, is to get there. And I also, just legally speaking, right, the reason that this is a difficult process for the Planning and Zoning Commission are the prior precedents that are set within Millville City, right? The requested rezones for 3rd acres and half acres. There are a multitude of 3rd acre and half acre lots in Millville City. That makes it difficult for any legislative or commission body to just straight up say, nah, we don't like that. We don't want 3rd acres right there. That's called spot zoning, and it is strictly prohibited under the law. We can't perform spot zoning and reverse spot zoning, as well as prohibiting a large swath of property to be rezoned just because somebody doesn't like it. We have to follow the law. We will follow the law, and that's why we have a general plan that we can lean on, which under the 4th goal of our general plan, if you look at the 2016 general plan, it says that we should require infrastructure studies, environmental impact studies before a rezoning occurs of any property. And I think that that's an important step at this stage for this property out there. There's a lot of concern about traffic, there's a lot of concern about infrastructure, the sewer, the water, and so I think that we need a lot more information to be able to address those concerns and to be able to understand, okay, can Millville sustain a development of that size? If the answer is yes, okay, the answer is yes. But right now I feel like there's a lot of hesitation and trepidation in the community about things that we don't even know, right? We don't know the answer to it, so there's a lot of fear about something that we don't know what the reality is. We're scared of something that we don't actually know what we're scared of. So I think that we need a lot more information to be able to make any sort of recommendation clarification about lot size or, how this plot should be handled in the future. But I just wanted to speak to the legal concerns here of the gates that we need to go through, the requirements that we're going to be set up, and I don't have any other comments on that.
I'm Lynette Dickey. I appreciate each of you being here and voicing your concerns, and they're valid, and we really appreciated listening to them. I was interested in the question on schools and the impact it would have on that. Is that even our decision, or is that a school district issue? And I have heard that there has been reboundary with Hiram. I don't know if we would be in the area as much as we think we might be. I was also very interested in seeing the trail systems in the riparian protection that would need to take place. But like Colby said, that would come with further requests for this of the budget. Thank you again for being here.
And I can speak to the elementary school because I got 3 feral cats that go there. So that right now it's like 520-ish, but with the rebound, the district resetting boundaries for the new middle school coming in and so forth, Millville Elementary is going to go down to about 240. It'll be the smallest elementary school in the district right now. So that's the outlook for the elementary school.
Matt Anderson, so I've lived in Millville pretty much my whole life other than 2 years. To add to the school issue, they are losing 9 teachers down there because they are downsizing. This has been hard. When I built my house here, 18 years ago, I was on the 3rd acre, and then I got the opportunity to move across the street to almost 3 acres. And there's a reason why I moved to 3 acres, because I wanted to have some activities that I felt like needed to be done on 3 acres or more. I look at a lot of stuff that comes to us. I try to get an idea on both sides. Like, I could sit here and argue with anyone for or against this. I try to look at it that way to have more of a level opinion. I think there's a lot of unknowns, and especially with the citizens. You guys are only seeing kind of what's presented to you guys. There's some stuff that we know that just from what's presented to us, to where you guys, there's a lot of a fear level because there's a lot of unknown. But I think but even for us, there's a lot of unknown of impact on the city. And that area is definitely, there's definitely a water issue. There's, you got, I believe Star Springs goes down through there. I think there's a lot of impact that we don't know of the effect that's going to be. And that's the kind of things that we need to look at before, you just open the floodgates on the whole deal, to where I think the general plan needs to be, fully updated. And I'd like to see, and I don't know if we can, because our general plan only goes to kind of where our city line is. I don't know if we have anything beyond that of like land that could be annexed in. I'd like to see it right to the line of what could be annexed into the city, to where there's already a plan prior to that even being annexed in, to where a lot of unknowns are gone and we know what it's going to be like. So that's kind of my opinion on it at this point.
All right. I circled a couple of questions here. We'll see what I can do with these. And like Matt said, we may have our own personal opinions about what we want done with this based on where we live or what we want or whatever. But our job is to try to be impartial and look at it from both sides. And so it is difficult, and I don't think I did a very good job last time of keeping my own personal emotion out of it. But that is our goal, is to try to be impartial and look at it from every side. On the, let's see, the first question here is stormwater. What will be done with the stormwater? The stormwater is generally a requirement that the civil engineers will require the development to take care of on their own property. And more and more water isn't emptied into a common stormwater system that goes into the wetlands out by the sewer ponds on Valley View. In almost every situation, new subdivisions are required to do detention or retention ponds on their own property. So that's probably where the stormwater would be going. And it does still go down into the ground after that, after it hits that pond, but it would be, as far as the runoff goes, maintain that on their own property. Yeah, the master plan has not been updated since 2016, and that was something that was brought up in the city council last time they were discussing it as well. That they thought maybe we needed to look at that before proceeding. As far as the access roads goes, yeah, there's probably one access road that goes through the Millville Meadows subdivision. With that number of lots, they'd be required to have at least one more access road. As far as using that as an argument, that actually would require the developer to update the road to the west up to city or county standards all the way through the length of the property. And then they would be required to have another access road come out onto that. So that the way the road currently looks like right now, if that development went through, that's not how the road would continue to be. It would be at the developer's cost to update that road to city and or county standards. As far as riparian studies, we've already talked. I mean, that's really the general consensus, is that we do need more studies, traffic studies, impact studies, riparian studies. All of those things probably need to be looked at and maybe addressed or used to update the general plan the way it needs to be based on what those studies find. Let's see. I think that's all the questions I had here. Okay.
What about Mike Hall's question?
Let's see. Where did I put this question? What was this?
Like the process? No, he asked, like, how many times can they come back that you as a, like, that the city has to review, or is there a point where the city can give us an
If they were asking for the same exact thing, I think it would be easy to say, no, you've already said this, it's already been said no to, whatever. We'd probably just turn that away. This is a minor change. It's not a big change, but it is a minor change. So I guess as long as they come back with a different proposal that's different enough from the original proposal that it merits more discussion, we would probably need to discuss it at that point.
Is there a fee associated with that?
What? A fee?
They have to pay a new fee every time.
Can we up that fee?
Yeah. Because I know every time a developer or pipeline or like in other cities, like Logan City and stuff like that, there is a significant amount of fee every time they come and re-ask for rezoning.
Right.
Do you want me to address that?
Yeah.
There is a fee, and we have a resolution prepared for the city council next week for parcels larger than 5 acres to increase that fee, cover the process.
Corey, we can't hear you.
He said there is a fee and we have a proposal to increase that fee for parcels over 5 acres, is that right? Yeah. Ultimately, the question was, why can't we do the updates to the general plan and look at all these impact studies and everything before we're considering another rezone? I think that was really generally the consensus through planning and zoning and city council last time. And I guess I don't really see that much has changed since then. Basically, from what I've read, all the concerns that city council had about this, we basically still have the same concerns. So to reiterate, just so that everyone understands, these are the proposed positives to the subdivision. Gar Springs water is extremely valuable. The city needs Gar Springs water. This property has Gar Springs water shares. It would be beneficial to the city to have those shares. Other water shares don't really do us that much good, but these water shares would do us a lot of good, and that is one positive. The sewer system can support houses out there, and the sewer loan depends on growth in the city. It could be worse. It could always be worse, but it has been proposed better, and that was turned down before we had somebody come in and ask for 1 acre lots back when it was 2 acre minimums, and that was turned down. So you always think, well, I wish we could have gone back to that. So I don't want to do that again. Let's see. The roads would be approved at the developer's cost. And eventually there will most likely be development out there. It's just trying to decide what that looks like and what power we have over that. My thoughts on it, to the opposing side of those positives, are I still agree. I don't think that any of the concerns from city council have been addressed. If we all have those same concerns, the impact to our city, our roads, our churches, or everything else. The biggest thing to me is that the main part of Millville, everything else in main Millville City is pretty much already zoned R1, which means every other open space that you see in the middle of our city is already going to be 1/3 acre, unless they just decide to make it bigger than that. But if any of those properties within our city limits are developed, it will be 1/3 acre. So this property gives us an opportunity to decide more like what we want that area to look like, where other areas we don't have that decision anymore. So this is our only option for controlled growth. And regardless of what this 35 whatever acres, whatever happens here will probably domino into everywhere else out there. And that's my big concern. I don't think we're talking about just one piece of property. We're talking about all the property out there. Whatever decision is made on this will affect everything else that happens out there, and I think that will be a spiral. Let's see. I don't really. A lot of times developers can make promises about open space, and they can make promises about trails and nature, and they could draw an arbitrary line and put color coding on it, and then you can say, great, vote on this, vote on it, hurry and vote on it. And they have no obligation to do any of that. any of the promises made at this point, any arbitrary line that's drawn in the middle of this, at this point, to me, it's just, there's nothing to stop you from saying, great, we'll put in 1 half-acre lot and everything else will be a 1/3 acre. Like, where is that line? There's no, they wouldn't be required to do any of this if we say, yeah, sure, you can do both zones in here. What's to stop them from saying, great, here's your 1 half-acre lot and everything else is 1/3. This map means nothing to me. Affordable housing. We're not required to provide affordable housing right now. It's not to say that we won't be someday, but we all know that even at 1/3 acre lots, this is not going to, in a million years, be affordable housing. Not by the definition of affordable housing, which is based on our median income for Millville City. There's a big assumption made about that we're only hearing from the vocal minority. I personally just don't believe that. I know you read on stuff on Facebook, there's a couple people that have said positive things about it, and there are, again, like I said, there are positive things about this development. But to me, I feel like I'm still feeling like the majority of the Millville citizens would not be in favor of this development out there. So I guess that's, I mean, we can vote on this, but mostly I'm also feeling like really not that much has changed. I don't really trust what's been presented, and I feel like none of the original concerns were addressed, and I feel like we probably need these impact studies and definitely an update to the general plan, which includes proposed annexations as part of that general plan update before we really get pushed into making a rash decision on this. I don't want to feel rushed into making a decision, especially when there's a lot of details that are obscure, and that's my opinion on it. Everybody else, let's hear everybody else's opinion, free to discuss.
Do we need to make a recommendation to City Council, or do we need a...
We'll make a recommendation to City Council, but let's, I mean, if there's any other discussion, I'm open to it. If anybody else has anything else to say or what their opinions are before we vote, that'd be great.
I have a comment, one last comment. Is that okay?
Sure.
My comment is that I know that we've been told it doesn't matter because it's the county that takes care of the school. My granddaughter lives with me. I said, how many kids are in your class? She said 40. 40 kids in 5th grade class. That's a little much. That's really a lot of hard, that's strenuous on one teacher.
It's going to be changed. It will change.
They're between the boundaries, the district is, it'll be better.
Good.
That's what Cody was saying.
I didn't know, so.
Yeah.
But that's an important factor,
Yeah,
even though
it
they
is.
say if you can't, that's not part of
Yeah.
the county. It still affects everybody each year.
Right, I also feel like we should consider the landowner, but we should also consider everybody else who currently lives here. And I think it's great that the boundaries are being adjusted because our school was definitely crowded at this point. So let's hear any other discussion or comments.
I think that we need studies before we move forward with this. That would be enlightening to all matters.
As a semi-recent convert to Millville, so I've been in Millville for 5 years. Love Millville. I think it's really important that as a community, we don't have a fear-based reaction to others coming into the community. There's no such thing as shutting the door on any municipality ever, anywhere. Population grows. That's kind of what happens. So I think that it's important for Millville in general to try to avoid having a fear-based reaction to any proposed developments. That being said, development should be careful, it should be intentional, and it should follow our general plan that we have for Millville. I will comment as to the developer, someone being villainized. Stewart Land Company, I encourage everybody to look them up online. As far as developers go, they are probably one of the best out there for community engagement and integration. They work hard to try and fit into what the community already, as it exists already. There are a lot of developers out there, some close to home in the valley, that don't do that, and it becomes a cookie cutter exercise. How many lots can we jam on to this plot as possible? I'm just trying to provide a little bit of context and information. Everybody should go out and look up the Stewart Land Company, look up things that they've done, projects that they've governed, projects that they've developed. Not saying that it's fantastic or not. I'm just encouraging everybody to get educated so that we don't have a fear of an unknown. Go out and educate yourselves as to who they are, what they've done, and what's out there. Excuse me. And so I agree that we need more information, right? Development is inevitable, especially in a small community. We have a great community in Millville. That's why I wanted to come. So I'm really grateful that there was a lot available for me to build on in Millville. And I'd love to share the excellent Millville experience with others in a sustainable way. So I think that we need more information to even understand what the impact might be, make sure that we can sustain it, and make sure that we can take care of not just Millville citizens, but the landowners, right? That they're part of Millville as well, right? We don't need to castigate them and push them to the side. They're part of our community, so I think that we should be careful with that knowledge as well.
Anybody else?
So, like if you look online on how many houses for sale in Millville, I think there's like 2. Like this is obviously, the community that most people want to, raise their family in, I guess. But we're not Nibley, we're not Providence, and there's a reason, and you literally can drive from Millville to Providence and know you're in Providence. Same as going into Nibley. This is definitely country living. This is what we've really kind of fought for a lot of years. I think we've done a really good job of keeping it very, very country. I think there's too many unknowns that we need to know before we just get the green light. I think the big thing is the general plan, and I think it'll be done before we do more growth.
Eric, can I make a comment? It's not bad. Cody said something in his first round of comments this year that heck out of me. He said, it's not law, so you're not going to know. If it's not law, then we tell you, you're not going to know. So for the 100 that are here that do care about what happens, I think the other 2,400, I don't think the 400, I don't think it's care for most part. But I think we need to keep in mind that Mr. Price has stated that we don't need to know because it's law. That doesn't feel good. How do we make a decision? How do you make a decision? How do we know what the heck is going on in the atmosphere if it's not laws?
I guess, if anybody heard that comment was based on It's not law that we know exactly what the subdivision's gonna look like until it's already, the zoning has already been changed. And then when the subdivision comes to planning and zoning, then we make the determination about what that subdivision needs to look like. To me, basically, that means the only thing that we know for sure is that there's going to be some half-acre lots and some third-acre lots. We don't know numbers, we don't know how that looks, we don't know anything else about it. And so that's what we're making the decision based on, is what's the worst or the best it could be based on that classification. You can't make your decision based on anything else because we don't know or we don't trust or whatever. It is hard to make that decision without knowing every little detail, but it's also, you're not gonna know that, so you have to do the best with the information that you have. Anybody else? Okay, well, I think I've been on planning and zoning for 15, 16 years. I think I've been the chairperson for, I don't know, 7 or 10, I don't know, somewhere. I've been here a long time. And we've learned some hard lessons, because originally my position on this commission had started off as anti-development, period. And that's been a hard lesson, because there's been plenty of times where we should have probably said, actually, a little bit of development is probably okay and we need to control it. It needs to be controlled and sustainable. And so I guess that, again, I love living in Millville, and I'm super glad that there was a lot available for me. I love exactly where I live, and it gave me an opportunity to move in here. And I know plenty of other people would also love that opportunity. And we love all of our neighbors around us, and we would probably love new neighbors that moved in, even if currently we're arguing against any development out there. I imagine that someday there will be development out there, and that's just gonna have to be okay, and eventually we'll all love those people as well. That being said, I still feel like this is, we don't know enough about it, and without knowing enough about it, it still feels to me like it's not really controlled growth, and we're giving away something on this. So I would also like to see more studies, more of the impact of our community before we push forward with this, and especially an update on the general plan before we move forward with any other proposals for this property. And so I guess we can have a motion for voting on this. I need a motion and a second on it. Unless there's any other comments before we vote on this. All right. It could be a motion to accept, deny. It could even be a motion to do something different, but that's pretty gutsy.
I think the appropriate motion now is a motion to deny the application for rezone in anticipation that we will gather further information.
A second?
Okay, we have a motion to recommend to City Council to deny the current rezoning request, and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That's it. Let's see. agenda items for next meeting? Not yet. Our next planning and zoning meeting will be March 19th. You're all welcome to come. It'll be a big building though. And I move we adjourn. Thank you all for coming. Let's get out of here in less than a half an hour.